Howdy y'all, welcome to Camp Shack Productions. Today I thought we'd take a minute away from the outdoors to talk about something important, daylight savings time. This is something I question every year, and this Sunday is going to be our fall time.
No, it's not true. That's impossible.
Remember, in the fall we fall back. I know, it's really confusing, right?
Every March and November, we try to control it.
Daylight saving time is about to begin.
Remember, we fall back tomorrow night, set the clocks back.
Bringing forward, and I hate it.
Back 1 hour.
Why do we change our clocks?
There's a controversy that we adjust our clocks due to maximizing sunlight for farmers.
For years, conventional wisdom has been that it benefits one particular group.
I know it started because of farmers, I'm almost sure of that.
But that's not actually true.
It gives them extra time to plant, extra time to harvest.
It has nothing to do with farmers.
I remember years ago hearing that it was for the farm people.
That is not the case. In fact, there are several farmer groups out there that are opposed to the time change. It doesn't help their animals in any way. It doesn't increase their crop productivity.
I know really no farmer that I'm aware of that benefits from actually farm activities having daylight savings time.
Of course, daylight saving doesn't benefit farmers. Cows don't care what time it is because they're cows, and cows are idiots.
So the question is, why do we continue to do this?
And I'm like, so what the hell is going on? Why do we even have this in the first place?
Daylight saving time. Okay, so it goes back. We're talking about, 18th century, early 19th century. So cities weren't electrified. There were no electric lights yet or anything. And so they had candles, and probably, do we have whale oil? Probably. Think oil, sources of energy to burn. But basically, you were awake in the daytime and slept at night.
In fact, it was started in 1916 in the midst of World War I. Germany was the first country to adopt a nationwide policy for daylight savings. They thought it would minimize the amount of actual candles that were burned and coal that was used. So they were stockpiling resources, and the US actually followed suit right behind them in 1918. They passed the law, and then it was repealed a year later. So it didn't really work out. The US did again implement daylight savings time in 1942 during World War II, and Congress once again did it to conserve resources. That was the whole point to doing it. And then just before the end of the war in 1945, they repealed that act again. So why is it that daylight savings time is back? It's actually capitalism.
Well, it was first proposed here in the United States by a retailer that found that if there was more sunlight, people would have more time to shop.
This all started from a retailer?
Well, he came up with the name daylight saving time, but it actually started during World War I. The Germans started doing it, and then the Brits, and then the US followed suit after that. It was called wartime.
Such a German thing to do, to make people lose an hour.
After the war, we stopped doing it because everybody hated it. And then in the 60s, the golf industry became a really big industry. So golf lobbyists were able to convince politicians that we should have daylight saving time so that there's more time to play golf after work.
It's to do with shopping and money. It wasn't until 1966 when Congress passed the Uniform Time Act, which is basically the biannual time adjustment. This became known today as daylight savings time. So it really was. They put it in place for shopping. It was a way for retail stores to stay open longer, which again is just crazy because anymore we don't just go daylight time. We'll shop all the time. There are several stores that are open 24 hours a day. This isn't something we need to do. It's something we have a tradition of doing, so therefore we keep doing it.
If you're like most Americans, you've been groggy all day after losing an hour of sleep to daylight saving. And as you struggle to remember how to change the clock on your f***ing microwave, you may have wondered, why is this happening?
So the biggest effect to the time change is the change in our sleep patterns. There are countless doctors that keep telling people how much damage this actually does.
This weekend, we lose an hour of sleep and gain an hour of evening sun because of daylight saving time. While many look forward to those brighter evenings, daylight saving time can be tough on our sleep, our bodies, and overall health.
It is recommended that we try to get a minimum of 7 and preferably up to 8 or even 9 hours per night.
With daylight saving time beginning this Sunday, sleep is especially important this week. The American Heart Association says heart attack risk jumps 24% the Monday after clocks move forward. Risk of stroke goes up 8%.
We are creatures of habit. We get very used to going to bed and waking up at a certain time, and when we adjust our clocks by an hour, that really messes with us. So much so that directly after a time change, traffic accidents go up by about 6%, heart attacks increase by 17%, and these are very, very important factors that are due to sleep deprivation. So the biggest thing is that it just messes with our clocks, and again, for no reason other than allowing a few extra hours to try to have some light to get into the store. In the fall, that doesn't even work that way. We shift that hour back into the morning. Let's just pick a time and stick with it.
If you ask me, I would vote it's overstayed its welcome. And right now, no one gives a rat's ass.
Well, the basic idea of time is really just an agreement. We all have to come together to decide when 10 a.m. is. And that agreement shouldn't kill people.
Wait, time is an agreement? What even is time? When is time?
Given the dangerous health consequences tied to these twice annual adjustments, Congress should take action. It's time for them to make a change. We don't need to continue doing something just because that's the way I always did it. We know that the health benefits would be there if we just stuck with a year-round time. It would make life easier for all of us. So I say, get out there. If you want to make an actual change that you can see take place, bother somebody. Let's make this happen. Let's pick a time and stick with it.
Behold, Simi, life, real life, a thing that we have been denied for far too long. Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
I know this video is very different from what we normally do, but it's something that I'm just constantly baffled by. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some laughs out of it. If you enjoy what we're doing, please make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with a fun video. Be well, my friends.
So if it doesn't benefit our energy bill, our health, or our stupid, stupid cows, it has to make you wonder, daylight saving time, how is this still a thing?